Hello Flosstube, I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel here. So me, Sarah, on Sunday the 12th of January 2025. I'm not quite sure how it turned out to be this far into January already, but here we are. Yes, I did record yesterday and I'm on the ball and trying to record again today to bring my WIP Parade to you. So the plan for today is to share a little bit of happy mail with you. Then I will do my WIP Parade and some statistics. Then I'll share my January stitching update so far. And if you're paying attention, I'll sneak in a little giveaway as we go along today too. So my happy mail is from my friend Kathleen over at Kathleen's Trodden Trails. She just recorded earlier this week, so that was really exciting. She had 2 videos up as well showing us her whips and plans for 2025. So if you haven't ever watched Kathleen before, she's so lovely. She's very chatty and she has gorgeous stitching to share with us. And she loves being inspired by the community. And she has set out plans for the year. So you could go and catch up with her over on her channel. I will link it below. It's Kathleen's Trodden Trails. But Kathleen and I have become good friends through social media, through our floss tubes. She came to visit me in the summer when she was visiting Ireland and Scotland. And we spent the day together, which was lovely, but not long enough. And we communicate regularly, we keep in touch, but she sent me a lovely box for Christmas, which took its sweet time getting here, what with mail all over the world being so weird, and particularly here. But it did arrive, and inside there were so many gifts inside. She's such a very generous, spirited person. But she included these little stitches for me. And when I say little stitches, there's a lot of work in these, and I'm so honoured that she spent the time working on them for me. But they're 3 little pillows. 3 little red pillows. And they're beautiful, beautiful. Now, Kathleen and I sometimes have a little FaceTime call and we have a chat, and I think at some point I must have mentioned to her that I was wanting to do some more red smalls, and she remembered this, and so she stitched up these red smalls for me. So we have this beautiful one with peace. It's trimmed in a pretty chenille, and you can see she's put some cute pins on the top as well. This one is joy. She's finished it with a chunkier chenille and some lovely little buttons and lovely wool felt on the back. And then this third one has another little pin in the top and it has love. I forgot to ask her what this pattern is because it's beautiful. I'm assuming they all come from one pattern or one designer, one set of. They're absolutely gorgeous. So a little bit of inspiration for you. If you want to know what the pattern is, if you are inspired by these and want to know what the pattern is, just ask me in the comments below and I will ask Kathleen next time I'm chatting with her what it was. I should have done that before, but thank you, Kathleen. They are gorgeous and they are going to go into the start of my red smalls basket. There will be more evidence of my plans for the red smalls basket later on in this video. So just put those nice and safely out of the way. So yesterday I shared with you a review of the Fun for 50 Sal 2024, which I was doing with my lovely friend Sally at FlossySewsandGrows. So yesterday I showed you all 50 of the starts that I had last year. 21 of those are carrying over into 2025 as whips. I did finish 29, so 21 remaining ones are carrying over as a starting point then for 2025 whips. I'm not going to repeat those here today, you'll be glad to know. If you haven't seen them yet and are interested, you can go back to yesterday's video and you'll be able to catch those in detail there. So I'm carrying those 21 whips forward into 2025. I had WIPs that I brought into 2024 in the first place, existing WIPs. I carried 12 of those in at the beginning of 2024. I only managed to finish 2 of those during the year. One was my advent calendar, which you were all so supportive on and rooting for me to get finished before Christmas, which I did. And then Rejoice Evermore. I shared the finish of that 2 episodes ago. My last episode of 2024, I managed to get it finished just before the end of the year. So those 2 were finished. So that was 12 brought in and 2 finished, bringing me down to 10 carrying in. And then I decided when I was going through those WIPs that one of them needed to be UFO'd. One of them needs to be forgotten about. And so that will bring me down to 9 of those WIPs that were pre-2024 carrying forward. So that UFO'd WIP is going to be, or is, the Elizabeth Bennet of Jane Austen freebie from Twin Peak Primitives. This is a beautiful chart, beautiful pattern. If you're interested, go and find it. I will have a link for it below, I hope, or at least the details below that you'll be able to go and find it. Search for it. And I love the pattern, and one day I will pick it up again and restart it. But I had to be honest with myself and say that I hate this piece as it is at the moment. And it's not to do with the pattern at all. I'm stitching it on, I think it's a 28 count. It's either a 25 or 28 count. I did all of the outline and I tried to start the fill, and I thought this would be a great project for those times when you're watching a movie that you need to concentrate on, or on a Zoom call or wherever, and you know your hands can work but your brain doesn't have to do too much thinking. And I still think that would work, but maybe on a higher count or with different thread or different fabric or something. Something needs to be different about this, because I found myself picking it up several times last year, and every time I picked it up I just didn't want to play. You know, I wanted to, but when I faced with the reality, sitting down, needle in hand, thread in hand, I just did not enjoy it. Now, I think that it's to do with the anchor floss that I was using. The anchor floss is beautiful. I chose to use it because people talk about how much better coverage you get with it. But I think in this instance, 1/1, actually there's too much coverage. And my opinion, and it is just my opinion, it's not scientific fact, but my opinion that for the reason that anchor floss provides the better coverage that people talk about is that it's a little bit more fluffy. It's not just as smooth as DMC 310. So with the smooth fibers then sit differently on your fabric. Fluffier fibers kind of fill out the space in the fabric, so you don't get that that lack of coverage look that people are always trying to solve, and sometimes then they resort to anchor to resolve that. But I think the fluffier anchor thread on this tight, smaller count is probably not necessary, and is making it harder for me. The fluffiness is making it harder actually to see the holes and where each individual stitch needs to go, and so I really don't like it. You can see down here I've been practicing with other threads, even with ordinary sewing thread and everything, just to see what kind of coverage I get. But I have decided that, albeit it took forever, or it felt like forever, to get all the counting and everything else correct with her, I'm happy to restart her at some time in a better way, in a way that works better for me and that I'm excited about stitching. I'm not going to torture myself by continuing this one. Hence, it's being UFO'd. And I'll also say that when I come to restart her, I might only do a shortened version of her and not that full length of her dress. So I think something shorter to make into a little pillow for the bookcase would be really nice. So one day Elizabeth Bennet and I will meet again, but that is not for now, and I am not carrying this on as a WIP. So I don't very often not finish something or dispose of something, but sometimes it's necessary to move on. So that is that one UFO'd, which means that I'm carrying my 21 WIPs from Fun for 50 Sal over, along with 9 WIPs that were pre-existing 2024, giving us 30. So we're getting maths lesson today. So I have 30 WIPs, except that I don't. So last year I had 16 uncounted projects. So those were projects that didn't get onto the list of my 50 starts. They were mainly more impromptu things I had forgotten to account for in the list, like birthday gifts, some of the sals for Caterpillar Cross Stitch and Historical Sampler Company, which I was kind of working on, collaborating with them on, and I hadn't known that they were coming up until they came up, and by that time I was already planned with my 50 and all of that kind of thing. I also did an impromptu stitch in memory of Daleen Wilson, so that kind of stitching just boosted my numbers, and I suppose technically I actually had 66 starts in 2024. But those 16 extras, if you like, of those I finished 10, so I'm carrying 6 of them over. So if you remember the maths, we had 30 and then 6 more that are carrying over from those unrecorded starts. I brought into 2025 36 WIPs. So that is what I'm going to share with you today. Now, you're only going to see 15 of them because I shared 21 of them yesterday, the remaining WIPs from the Fun for 50 Sal. So you'd be glad to know you don't have to sit through those 21 again, and I will share with you the 15 that are carrying over, a combination of pre-2024 and a few of the unrecorded 2024 stitches. So let's take a look at those and share those with you. My oldest WIP, and I am going to do these in their sort of chronological order, starting with the oldest. So my oldest WIP is from Little Fox Stitching and is, flying away, is the Christmas Gingerbread Village. It's really adorable. I did start this on a whim back in, I think, 2022, about November 2022. What was really going on at the time was I was inspired by Glitter Village, but couldn't get hold of the Glitter Village patterns. Saw this, thought it was nice and Christmassy and kind of comparable in the sort of 3x3 row, if you like, although it's not issued in parts. I bought it and I started it, and Nikki Noodle was doing it too. Nikki hasn't progressed much either, I didn't. But that's where I was. I started it kind of as a replacement for something else, for Glitter Village. And of course then I did get Glitter Village and I neglected this one. But that is the pattern, and this is where I have got to. I did honestly consider UFOing this, or just making this bit into a little pillow, although I hate the loss of the fabric all around it. So I did consider kind of giving up on it, but then I was watching the Unfinished Stitchers earlier in the week. Bonnie and Madison, I think you call them, mum and daughter. And Madison, the daughter, had this on display behind her. She has stitched it, the whole thing. And I thought, oh, it really is lovely and it would be worth stitching. So let's not get rid of it yet. Let's not get rid of it yet. So I'm probably not in a hurry to get back to this one, but it is adorable. The pattern is lovely, and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it in the WIPs. So that is my Christmas Gingerbread Village. My next oldest WIP is then Glitter Village, because as I said, I did get hold of it. It is a series of 9 patterns from Cottage Needleworks, and I have 3 patterns remaining. So I have the bottom row, it's laid out a 3x3, and I have the bottom row of patterns to complete. I've started number 7. I actually thought I had finished number 7, so I was a bit disappointed when I got this out to press it for you that I haven't finished. I haven't finished it, but I made a good start on number 7, and then 8 and 9 have to go in as well. So this is adorable. I love it very, very much, and I would like to see this one completely finished in 2025. So that is Glitter Village by Cottage Needleworks. The third WIP then I'm going to share is from Oil Forest Embroidery. It's a freebie. I believe it's still freely available on their website, and this is their Alice in Wonderland sal. I can't remember which year this was a sal for them, but probably I probably started it in 2022. It was maybe a 2021 sal. I think I came to it a bit late, but this is Alice in Wonderland. And I'm just stitching this with my own conversion of threads to sulky threads on an aqua linen. And I've made good progress on it. I started it along with Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trails. She started hers, and then she did quite a lot of work on it actually, and then wasn't enjoying it. I think it was the fabric she wasn't enjoying, and she has restarted it. But we were doing a little kind of stitch along for 2 with this one. So I think we both would like to see her finished this year. So I need to get working on it. She's so colourful and beautiful. And it is a really lovely pattern, and as I said, it was free, so if you're interested you could take a little look. I'll have some information about that. If I can put the link in, I will. If not, I'll just put some information to help you search for it. So that was WIP number 3, and then number 4 is A Saviour's Praise. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler, and it's a biggie. This was my, I think, December 2022. Yes, December 2022. This was my birthday start, and 2 years later, I'm a little bit ashamed to say that this is all how far I've got. So. But it is so lovely, and when I stitch on it, I love it. The problem is I get other things happening and don't stitch on it. So I have actually picked this up since January, and I've worked a little bit down here, putting some initials in, adding in the birds here, and finishing off some of this foliage. And here we go with the first flop. There we go. So this is my start, and I absolutely love it. And my plan, I'll maybe intersperse a little bit of plans here, but most of the plans will be at the end. But my plan is to pick this one up as a Sunday stitch. Now, most months, I really give 2 Sundays over to Flosstube. It takes morning to prepare for Flosstube, mid-morning to late morning, and lunchtime to record it. Early afternoon to edit it, and then if the internet gods are being kind, it might get uploaded by tea time or shortly after Charlotte goes to bed. So the gist of telling you all of that is that those 2 Sundays, on a Flosstube Sunday, I don't actually get very much stitching in, so it will only get a very tiny touch on those days. But the other couple of Sundays a month, I would hope that this will be my focus stitch, and I will just keep this one happening on Sundays until it's finished. That is the plan anyway. That is the plan. So it's probably going to take all year and some more, but it's worth dedicating the time to, and I would really like to do that. So I know a lot of you have Sunday stitches or Sabbath stitches, and I thought that sounded like a good way to just make regular progress on it, because I love it so very much. I think the whole pattern is so beautiful, and I really want to have this one in my home. So So that is a Saviour's Praise. As I say, I did pick it up already this year, last Sunday. And pardon me for stretching off screen. Yes, I did pick it up and worked on it already, and hopefully I will continue and make that a habit for the new year. Next, I have this little WIP, and it's called Zigwigwi Delight, whatever that means down here. It's a Russian pattern, and it's an unusual construction, so I'm looking forward to doing that. You stitch the whole thing in a square piece, and then you're basically folding corners in to meet at the back. So it will be interesting to learn how to do that, I hope. And again, I love this. I think it's cute and adorable. I just didn't get time to pick it up, so I hope that I'll be able to work this one in sometime this year as well. Zigwigwi Delight. Then I have a stitch that my hubby bought me a couple of Christmases ago. This is a kit, and it's called Afternoon Tea from the Karen Carter collection at Heritage Crafts. It's lovely, but it's hard. I find it really hard. I'll show you where I've got to. Here we go. The colours are so cute, really, really cute. Obviously, there's a lot of back stitch in this. That won't be hard once I finally get the stitching in. You can see I really haven't done very much of this at all. What I find hard about it are the part stitches. So there are lots of half stitches, and they are not your regular half stitches. They're sort of tall half stitches. So they are half the width of the square of Ada, rather than a half on the diagonal. And I find that really messes with my head in the counting sense. So I honestly do find this one very difficult. When I pick it up and get my head into it for a few days, then it happens. It comes a bit easier, but yeah, I think that sort of puts me off picking it up a bit, so that it is harder work than I would like it to be. But it is beautiful, and it will be nice when it's finally finished. So we'll see if I manage to get any progress on that this year at all. I do feel slightly guilty that I haven't, because it was a gift from hubby and he made a big effort to find me something nice to stitch. He didn't know anything about buying cross stitch, and he managed to find it himself. He had themed a lot of my Christmas gifts that year around the afternoon tea idea. So I feel a little bit guilty that I haven't stitched it when he went to all the effort. Anyway, that is that one. The next one is another tea themed. This is Turquoise Themed Teacups by Luca S. It was a kit that I bought online. It's a beautiful kit. This is my first and only Luca S, I believe. And I do recommend, if you like to stitch from kits, I know some people don't, but if you like to stitch from kits and have it all there for you, the Luca S kits are a nice quality kit. So that is how it should look when it's finished, and this is how it looks so far in my progress. So I've still got quite a lot to do, but oh, she's lovely. She's really, really lovely. It's full coverage in the sense, that it's all filled in here. It's intense stitching, but look at the colors and the patterns, and I haven't even back stitched those yet to bring them to life. They're doing really well by themselves. So I do hope that this one will see a lot of stitches this year. If I say this about everything, you're going to have to know that I can't put lots of stitches in everything this year, especially with 36 WIPs. But anyway, I can hope and wish. That's all part of the fun, isn't it? Being optimistic and hopeful. Next, I have my one and only full coverage, and I have to laugh because someone, well, let me show you first, just to remind you in case, or if you're new and you haven't seen it. my full coverage piece is Woman in a Field of Flowers 1 by Ada Rosa. And she's beautiful. And last night on the Across the Pond Zoom call, a lovely lady called Jane was showing hers, and she has got quite a big chunk. I think she has maybe 25% complete, I think she said. But she's quite a big chunk of sky and the beginning of the lady on it, her hair and her shoulders. It looks fantastic. and then Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot said, "Oh, aren't you doing that one too, Sarah?" And I had to admit that mine is not quite as far on as the lovely Jane's. Mine is just looks like this. It's a couple of inches at the top corner. So bringing out my WIPs and thinking about each of them and whether I want to keep them going and what I should do with them. I was trying to think sensibly about this one. So 2024 was a big year. There were 50 starts. There just wasn't the space to dedicate any time to this full coverage. And if I'm really honest, full coverage isn't my bag. But I wanted to have a go. I wanted to try. And I'm not ready to give up. I'm not ready to give up. But I'm also realistic enough to admit that it doesn't call to me because I know it's going to be hard work. It's the confetti stitching, concentration. I have to use my iPad. This is actually a big thing because I use the iPad to put her on Markup RXP, which is really good. I really enjoy that, and it works really well, and it really helps the stitching. But it means that when I'm stitching, I'm not watching Flosstube, because I watch on my phone a little bit, but I don't really like to watch Flosstube on my phone. I think I just like the bigger screen of the iPad. So all of these excuses are reasons why I don't naturally gravitate to picking her up. So I need to schedule her a little bit if she's going to get any regular attention at all. Now, I am realistic enough to know that this project will still be going when I retire. And I'm a good 15 years from retirement, probably 17 years maybe. But this will still be going then. I just hope that my vision is. So anyway, a little bit of often is some progress, even if she doesn't get finished. So I would like to try to go back to full finish Fridays. So Friday afternoon or Friday evening stitching, if I can. I'm going to try and slot this one into my schedule. Probably after January, because January's a little bit odd because I'm working extra days and I'm working Fridays. Basically at proper work, like paid work. So so I need to find a way of touching her regularly. If regularly is once a month, that's okay. If it's every Friday, that's also great. So I'm not ready to give up on her, but she's not naturally drawing me to her. But one day I would love the achievement of saying that I did it. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, moving on. I have a WIP that I don't have a picture for. It is the Gilmoreisms Stitch Along that was released just at the end of 2023, like the very end of 2023, and it was insane of me to start it new late in December when I was looking at a year of 50 new starts, but started I did. And this is where I got to so far. It is a sort of a panelled, it was a mystery stitch along, and it is panelled like this. I don't have a printout or a picture of what those other panels are, so I'm gonna have to leave it to your and my imagination. I do have all of the charts printed, but obviously I can't share those with you. So this is as far as I got, probably halfway. So there's still a reasonable amount to do. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. And at the beginning of the year, when I was stitching it with each release, I rewatched all of the episodes of Gilmore Girls, and I enjoyed that immensely. So So I'll have to get back to it. It's been sitting there for too long untouched, but so have most of these. After that, I had a new start. This is one of the 2024 starts that I didn't count in my 50 starts, and it is a caterpillar cross stitch along. No, it's not, sorry, it's an historical sampler company stitch along, and it is Do More of What Makes You Happy. It is absolutely beautiful. It was a collaboration with Emma Congdon of Stitch Rovia. I have stitched this much and all the top, but I'm not going to open that up. But I would like to finish this one because I would like it on the wall or in a room, or I would like it on display somewhere because I love it. It was a lot of work, and I was really super busy at the time, and it kind of got left behind as lots of other things took over. So another one that I would really love to finish in 2025. I had an impromptu little start on gathering honey from Luminous Fiber Arts. And basically this was an excuse to so what happened was Marie from Swan Bay Fabrics, Marie and Gunter, sent me a lovely little sample box of their fabrics, and when I got that sample box I couldn't wait to get stitching on something. So I have 40 count, and the colour that I chose to stitch on is Highbury Gold, and I just wanted to choose a smallish pattern from my stash and stitch something on the beautiful new Swan Bay fabrics. So that is what I did. I used the Highbury Gold, and I started, I believe that the floss is Queen Bee, probably Classic Colourworks Queen Bee, I think. And that is my start on there. It's a 40 count, and it's so cute. So cute. So that was yes, another one of the impromptu additional starts last year. Another one. I have two. The next two are starts that were at Stitch in London in 2024. I hadn't thought about that when I was putting my 50 starts together and didn't leave space for them, so they are just additionals. Yasmin's Made with Love did the official charts for Stitch in London 2024, and we could pre-order this booklet, and there are 3 different charts in there. There's this one, this kind of landscape sampler. Maybe you can see it better on the back, that one, can you? There you go, landscape sampler. There's this portrait sampler, and there was a little pillow. I stitched this one, or started this one. I didn't get very far. The stitching that's on this is all stitching from my start at Stitch in London. I took fabric. I ordered the Merlot Roxy Floss Co. on pre-order to pick up at the retreat, and I made this start. I love it. I really, really love it. I love the red. I love the pattern. I love the teapot, of course. I love the teapot. So I am looking forward to stitching more on this, and I would hope to get this one finished before Stitch in London 2025, which I very much hope to attend. So I'll be looking forward to Marie's announcement for that in the next few months, I imagine. That will be great excitement. The second exclusive chart that was available at Stitch in London that I purchased was from the Historical Sampler Company, and this is called Autumn Panel. This one is, I don't think this one is available yet, so I think it's been an exclusive for a period of time. I imagine that at some point the Historical Sampler Company will release it generally on their website, so if you're interested you could keep an eye out for that. Maybe around next autumn. Usually if things are exclusives, they're held for about 6 months to a year. It's really beautiful, but all I managed to do in my start for that one is the house at the center. So again, didn't get very far, but really happy with it. and look forward to stitching more on it someday soon. Soon means August probably. You know what I mean. The next one is my last. Is it my last? Where did that other one go? Oh, there's two here, sorry. There's two here. So these last two. This one is a stitch that I haven't shared with you at all. I didn't share this with you when I started it. Mainly because I started it at a difficult time in November, and I started it for mindfulness reasons. So it was just, life just got a bit chocker, that's all. Nothing serious, just a bit chocker. And I was struggling to get proper stitching in amid the busyness of everything else. And you know how it goes. I could have just picked something else up for 5 minutes, but I didn't. I just wanted something I wanted something I could finish, something little. And so I was interested in this. You know, I've mentioned this before a long time ago. This is 324, the sequel. Now 324 is a pattern. These are patterns by Works by ABC. 324 was a design that was very popular in 2023-24 and uses 324 of the DMC colours to make a beautiful grid work. The designer, whose name I have forgotten, Arlene Cohen. So the designer then decided that she would do some like counted canvas work almost, stitching in the same kind of idea, the same kind of grid work, the same 324 colours, and she released that, and I loved it. Now it's quite a pricey chart. Because she's had to give a lot of extra instructions, it prints off in a lot of pages, so I understand where the price of the charts come from. If you're interested, you could always favourite it on her Etsy shop and wait until the time when there's a sale. But anyway, this really appealed to me because you know that I love other types of needlework too. I love black work and I love some other counted stitch work. So I thought, at this time when I was feeling a bit, overwhelmed, I thought that finishing one little square would just at least feel like I'd achieved something. It was a period of about 4 weeks when I was really struggling to feel like I'd achieved anything in a day. So I started on this one. And I didn't get very far, as you can see, because then we moved into December and I just one sickness after another. But I'll try and hold this up closer so you can see the stitches. It's a lot of fun. So I keep this one upstairs at night, and when Charlotte's going to sleep at night, she likes us to stay upstairs, and so I'll go into another room and I'll sit and I'll just do one of these little squares while I'm waiting for her to drop off to sleep. So that is the plan for this. No rush. It is just a little bit of mindfulness stitching, and that's what I'm using it for. I know that all of my stitching is in a sense mindfulness stitching. It's all de-stressing. It's all, what helps to keep me balanced and sane. But obviously at that stage, I just need something a little bit extra. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of design work, and I just look forward to enjoying it little block by little block. Okay, the very last WIP that I had finishing 2024 with is an embroidery WIP, and this I did share with you. It's a little kit from the Crafty Heart. Is that right? Yeah, the Crafty Heart. Can you see? And my friend Margaret bought me this, and this one is called Save the Bees Gold Work, and it looks like this. Beautiful. And Margaret bought it, she bought herself one and she bought me one so that we could try and do this together, something new, learning a new skill together. We are trying to work on it only when we are together, and that has only happened once so far. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get another afternoon together and be able to make a little bit more progress. But here is my WIP so far. I have started the base work for the abdomen of the bee and outlined the wings. So it's been very nice to try to learn something new. Obviously I need a lot more practice because it's far from perfect. But I think, taking a bigger picture look at it, it will be lovely when it is much further on. So hopefully Margaret and I will get together a little bit more regularly than we have been so far, and we'll be able to do that. It's been really nice to have something new to stitch along with her. So those are the 36 WIPs that I was bringing in to 2025. So that's grand, except then we head to January and I have startitis. I think that all the viruses we had, the flu and the norovirus and whatever else was in the house, I think just then they left and startitis followed. No, seriously, I had plans to start some new things, and new things have just come along. And I thought for a tiny moment that I should say no to some of these things. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm not afraid of the starts anymore. I'm not afraid of the numbers anymore. I can cope. I like to keep them a little bit smaller, but I can cope. So, and I like, most importantly, I like the community. I like the aspect of joining in. So yes, I have more stitch alongs happening, and I love to be able to stitch with people, to stitch with bigger groups, to stitch just me and another stitcher doing something. I will not be able to say yes to everything going forward, but these things were coming up and I did sort of put them off because of the 50 starts last year, and so they've all fallen in January. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't want to say no and be a party pooper. Okay, so on the 1st of January, so yes, I had 36 WIPs and now I'm increasing them again. Okay, WIP number 37 is Modern Folk Embroidery, Dream of Winter Garden. And this is a stitch along that you are most welcome to join us in. So this stitch along is something I'm doing along with Stitchy Sally on Instagram and on Flosstube. She has a lovely channel. You could go and follow her there if you don't know her already. Go and check out her channel. So Sally and I are stitching this one together. This was gifted to me, and I think I showed it on a Flosstube when it arrived as a gift and said I would love to stitch it. Sally got in touch. She said she wanted to stitch it too, and I said, oh yeah, that would be lovely if we could stitch together, but not yet. So we held off. Sally was very good, and she waited for me, and we started this as our New Year start on the 1st of January. So if you would like to stitch along with us, use the hashtag WinterGardenSal2025 and tag us. Tag me on Instagram at SewMeSarah and tag Sally at Stitchy Sally, and then we will definitely be able to see your progress in our feed. We can also go and search the hashtags at the moment. We can't follow them any longer, so they don't just automatically appear in our feed, but we can go and search them. So if you have this kind of hanging about your stash, or if you fancy buying it, it's available on Jacob's website, Modern Folk Embroidery. We'd love to have you join us. So there's plenty of time. We're not rushing through this. We're just stitching it as we want. One of us will probably be faster than the other, and that won't be me. But this is our start for New Year's Day, and you're very welcome to join us. Now, this is my progress since New Year's Day, and the only reason that it is this far on is because I've also made it my daily thread stitch. So that is another plan I wanted to put back in place. The daily thread thing worked really well, and for most of the year I kept it up, but it did sort of fall off at the end of the year, just with trying to keep on top of everything else, really. So I am reinstigating my daily thread stitch, which, in case you don't know or haven't been around to hear about my daily thread before, lots of folks do a 1 thread a day project. So they'll pick up a project, they keep it as their 1 thread a day project, and they put 1 thread of fabric into that each day, and then they go on and stitch other things. So for me, I decided to call mine the daily thread. I pick this up, it's the first piece of stitching I do in the either late afternoon or early evening. When I get time to sit down to my stitching, I will load my needle once. People always ask, what does 1 thread mean? So to me, it means loading my needle once. The projects that work better for this are projects where you don't have lots of confetti, because that makes it more difficult to actually use up a thread. But I will load my needle once. So for me, that's about an 18-inch length of thread. Whether that's a double thread because I'm stitching 2/2, or whether it's a single thread because I'm stitching 1/2. So load the needle once, stitch that in, and then put it away, move on to something else. If, however, I feel inspired to keep working on the project, that's okay too. For me, that was the point of introducing my daily thread. It was to try to pick up projects that maybe hadn't been picked up for a while, and to reinvigorate my love for them by a little bit of regular stitching. And mostly that worked. Mostly if I picked up a project and started to work on it 1 thread a day, then there came a point where I would fall back in love with it, or just be really inspired to keep going until it was finished. And so sometimes the daily thread pieces move over into like regular WIP scheduled, rotation. Occasionally I will pick a piece that is a daily thread from beginning to end. So most of my pieces don't start out as a daily thread. They'll be an existing WIP that I think, oh, that's been languishing for a while. I'll pick that up and try to restart it, restart my journey with it. But sometimes I have picked a chart specifically for a daily thread, and those have tended to be red work stitches. So there's lots of ways to do a daily thread. For me, it's all about finding some kind of motivation or reinvigoration of joy in a pattern, and I go with the flow. So if at the end of the 1 thread I really just want to put it back down, that's fine. I've made that little bit of progress today. If I think I'm really enjoying this, or I'd like to see that bit finished, then that little bit of motivation has actually worked. So the daily thread has done its job. So long way of saying, this is my first new WIP of 2025. It is Dream of a Winter Garden. You can stitch along with us. Use the hashtag WinterGardenSal2025 and tag me at SewMeSarah and Sally at Stitchy Sally. And I hope that you'll enjoy it if you do. So I look forward to seeing who will stitch along with us. On the 2nd of December, yes, I have a few starts in a row here, but on the 2nd of December, I started another stitch along, and this time it's a stitch along with a friend called Mary Ann Johnson. She is on Instagram. She comments on lots and lots of folks' YouTube channels. She's a very loyal viewer, and we regularly comment and on each other's social media posts. So Marianne was very supportive of our 50 starts year, and she is having her own milestone birthday in 2025. And then I I guess, was inspired or encouraged to have her own milestone birthday year. So she is going to do 60 starts this year. And the first start that she has chosen is Cabin in the Woods by Flossabilities. So this chart was calling my name very loudly from my stash, because it made its way to my stash about 30 seconds after it was released, because I love it so much. The design is fabulous, the colours are amazing. And Marianne's birthday, Sal, is just a really great excuse to get this out and get it started. So if you would like to follow Marianne's progress over the year, she is on Instagram. I'll put her name in the drop down below next to the information about the chart. And you can follow along with her, and you can join in on her milestone birthday, Sal 2025. She is going to be doing, as I said, she's going to be doing 60 starts, so you could join in with plenty of other charts as she goes through the year. So Marianne, I wish you well with your 60 start endeavour. It's going to be a fun year, and this is my start along with you from the 2nd of January. It doesn't look like much, but it is. A couple of nights stitching, and I've really enjoyed it, and I just love being able to start this chart and to celebrate with Marianne. So that was WIP number 2, or start number 2 for the year. The 3rd of January brought a start of the Little Owl Patchwork Sampler stitch along from the Historical Sampler Company. Now, they very kindly gifted me this stitch along, and it is their winter stitch along. It started on the 1st of January. I started on the 3rd of January, and it's a 4-part SAL, a mystery SAL. It's being released fortnightly. So part 1 is out. Part 2 is due tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Wednesday. Part 2 will release on Wednesday, and it is gorgeous. Let me show you my progress so far. Now, I have managed, sorry, let me just get a board so I can put this on properly. I have managed to complete part 1, and I also made a couple of assumptions about symmetry to finish a few parts. So I did assume symmetry on this diagonal or on this line of triangles and on this one up here, but I think it will be okay, and if not, I'll just eat humble pie, isn't that it? I'll eat humble pie and unpick. So you can see I have parked some threads because these bits are not finished yet. The border's not finished and continued. So we just got the first quarter of the pattern as a release, and it's beautiful. The colors are fabulous, really fantastic wintry colors. Perfect this week because we had so much ice and snow. Not deep snow, but you know, it was cold and it lay, and I have been finding it hard to stay warm this week. So this is my part 1 of the Historical Sampler Company Little Owl Patchwork Sampler. This is available if you like the look of this and you would like to join in. It is available still as kit, either in a 32 count linen or a 16 count Ada, or as a PDF version. You'll find that on the website, and I can link that down below for you. So that was the 3rd WIP, 3rd start. My 4th start was totally uncalled for, like they all are, but anyway. This is a freebie, and I've had it kitted up forever and a day. This is a freebie from Stone Street Stitchworks called the Lace Maker's Cottage, and I just got a buzz for it whenever I opened Kathleen's parcel, and it had those 3 gorgeous little red work pillows in it. I thought, yes, I had those plans for red work pillows. I'm going to start one. So I did. As I said, it was kitted up, so it was really easy. I just lifted it out of the cupboard and made a quick start on it. So It's so nice. It's so nice. So again, shouldn't have, but I did. Start number 4 and then start number 5 is the very last of my starts so far, January. And we'll add those 5 then to the 36 that went before. And yes, I now have 41 WIPs. But this is the Across the Pond SAL for 2025, which I am helping to host on the Across the Pond Stitch and Chat Facebook page, which is available to anyone who would like to join it. This is what we are stitching. We, as a group, we chose and voted for a stitch for 2025 for our very first stitch along together. And we chose One Stitch at a Time from La Di Da. And the official start date was January the 10th, but you could start anytime from the 1st. I just made it January the 10th because I had all those other starts planned and I couldn't do it on the 1st. But I knew that lots of folks had blessing samplers planned, New Year, new starts already decided. So I wanted to leave a little bit of a gap and start officially on the 10th. Some people did start on the 1st, and it's lovely to see all of the progress on the Facebook page. So as I said, you're more than welcome. Just find the Facebook page. It's Across the Pond Stitch and Chat. I'll try and link it below for you if you're interested. And you do need, if you're going to join the group, you do need to answer the questions. They're easy peasy for us stitchers, but it's just to make sure that the folks joining the group are actually stitchers. So answer the questions and put your request in to join the group. And then you can stitch along with us. You can stitch one stitch at a time along with us. For this year, I divided it up into 10 assignments, 10 monthly assignments. The plan is that it should be finished by the 31st of December this year, mainly so that hopefully we can do a new SAL in 2026. But there are no police, so you can take as long as you want to over this. You do not have to do it by assignment either. You can just tear on, and some people already have. Some people have made really big progress already, and it's beautiful and inspiring to see that. But I will be taking it one step at a time as per the assignments, and some other folks like the assignments, breaking it down into smaller chunks that you can fit in around your other stitching. So that information is all on the group page, the Facebook group page. Up in the files section there is an assignments document and a SAL guidelines document. If you are interested, you'll be able to find them there. We have only just started, so there's plenty of time for you to catch up, and don't worry about being caught up, as it were anyway. Just come along and stitch, share your progress in the pictures, look at other people's progress, and be inspired and make some friends perhaps. Anyway, all of that, it means that I had a start on the 10th. I am almost finished this month's assignment. I just need to finish the word together. You can see the very top row. So that is the first monthly assignment. It wasn't too big. It's a lot of counting though for the border, which I note from last night's Across the Pond Zoom call that some folks are chickening out of. With great excuses. But I'm just kidding. Some people aren't going to stitch the border to make it easier for framing, and that is actually a really good idea. But I stitched it and I counted it over and over and over again, so it better be right. I am almost finished the word, and then I'll know if I was right, if I am right or not. But fingers crossed. So I'm stitching this on another Swan Bay fabric. It is a 40 count Pemberley, which is a beautiful, beautiful sampler colour. So yeah, 40 count Pemberley from Swan Bay fabric, and the called for threads. So I'll let you have a wee look close up. So far on the group, anyone who has started on this first assignment, I mean, some people are centre starters, so they're able to start with the central assignment and do them just in a different order, but anybody who started at the top, the conversation has been about how beautiful that bee is, and it really is beautiful. So those are my new 5 starts for the year. We'll add them to the 36 WIPs that I carried into the year. And yes, I now have 41 WIPs. Me, who usually likes to have no more than 16, I have 41. Does it matter? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. What am I going to do with 41 WIPs? How am I going to cope with 41 WIPs? I don't honestly know. I don't know. But I have given a lot of thought to a lot of different plans for the year. And I can't come up with anything that actually works to get me all the way to 16 by the end of the year. Except the only thing that would do that is to have no new starts. And I think you know how that would go. And I'm being realistic and saying, I don't want that. I don't want that rule. I don't want to say no new starts till I'm down to 16 WIPs. So that's not where I'm going with this. I decided to do WIP Go. And I decided to do WIP Go just so that I can touch everything. So when the numbers are called, that means hopefully I'll get to touch the things that have been languishing, especially the pre-2024 stitches. So they are all, I think with the exception of the Gingerbread Village, or maybe I did put Gingerbread Village on. Now I'm doubting myself. Anyway, the plan is that the projects have gone on to my WIP Go board, which is here somewhere. Yeah, I don't seem to have put the Gingerbread Village one on because it was sort of, at the time I was planning it, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to keep it going or not. But everything else is on my little WIP Go board. And when the numbers are called, then I will pick those up. So number 11 and 20 were the ones called for January. So I made number 11 a Saviour's Praise. So that was easy because I'm now planning and I have started it. And my aim is for 5 hours on each, for each WIP Go call. And then number 20 is Glitter Village, which I hope to pick up. So having those numbers called means that I will then, if I adhere to it, I will pick up the project and hopefully that will reinvigorate my stitchy bug for them. And so that is the first plan that I have and I put in place. I mentioned that I'm reinstigating the daily thread and introducing the Sunday stitch. And again, those things are to just put habits in place. I like habits and I like routine, and it generally works quite well for me to have those. So having those should keep a little bit of momentum going in some areas of stitching. The other thing then that I'm going to do is rebuild my Sweet 16 board from scratch. So if you haven't been here, especially last year, I didn't really talk much about Sweet 16 at all. My Sweet 16 board is literally just a 4x4 grid. Okay, and this is an ink blot because I fell asleep. I fell asleep and the pen was touching the paper. So it's a 4x4 grid and it's 16 WIPs are on here. And normally I have 16 WIPs and that's my sweet spot, hence the Sweet 16 name. So I kind of worked out one time that 16 is in around the sweet spot for me. I don't like to have too many, but I like to have several WIPs to have selection and choice. So I went with Sweet 16 and it served me well. So on the grid of 4x4, I'll work with those 16 WIPs. If I finish one, then I sticker over that square, and that means I can bring a new start in, a new project in. Now obviously I've got 41 WIPs now, so that's several Sweet 16 boards. And I'm not going to think about it that way. So what I've decided to do is the WIPs are now really just kind of being held aside, and I will bring them one at a time as I restart working on them. I'll bring them into the Sweet 16 board. So here already I've got A Saviour's Praise, Cabin in the Woods, One Stitch at a Time, Dream of a Winter Garden, The Little Oil Patchwork, The Lace Maker's Cottage, and I did put down here Woman in a Field of Flowers because I want to bring her in onto the board. So I still have a number of blanks and obviously more WIPs to fill those than I have blanks. But I'm going to try and bring them in one at a time, and then once it's full, then I don't want to bring any more in again until something is finished. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. It makes sense to me, and it makes sense in a manageable way to me at this stage anyway. So I don't know, and I don't actually believe that I'm going to get back down to 16 WIPs by the end of the year. I think 41 is too high a number, and I know that there will be other starts this year. I'm not going to miss out on stitching opportunities with friends for the sake of a few numbers, not anymore. And I can cope. I just need to think differently about what's sitting over there in the pile calling to me. But I will be overwhelmed if I go too far. So I want to have some kind of control without being too worried about it, too anxious about it. And I think maybe that's something I've learned in my year of 50 starts, is to not worry so much about them, and just keep enjoying them. This is my hobby. This is not my job. I do not have to meet targets and deadlines on this. So I don't need to invent them for myself. But I do like structure and boundaries. So I have a little bit of that going on too. So anyway, I've probably overshared far too much of my thinking process. Anyway, 41 WIPs it is. That's 41 beautiful, fun stitches, projects I love, projects I will be happy to pick up and work on. I'm keeping going with the SALs, and I'm okay with all of it. So I think that's all I need to share with you, if it's not too much. I did forget to do my giveaway in the middle. So when I was sharing Marianne's birthday SAL and my start on Cabin in the Woods, I meant to tell you that I have a brand new copy of Cabin in the Woods to share with you. This beautiful pattern from Flossabilities, designed by Sam, Lauren's brother, and charted by Lauren, is available in hard copy from Talking Dog Stitchery in the UK, and it is also available as PDF from their Etsy shop or website. I will link it down below. Can't remember now, sorry. And the good news is that it should be available in the US soon too. I think Lauren posted on her Flossabilities Instagram page that they have got a US distributor now, so that's really good news as well. So anyway, that is a way that you could get it, but one of the ways you could get it is to join the giveaway today, is to participate in the giveaway. So we're going to use the word cabin in the comments if you would like to be in with a chance to win this chart. Just use the word cabin somewhere, and please, all the usual rules apply. I will send it anywhere in the world, so international entries are most welcome. Don't use the words that trigger the bots. Don't say win, giveaway, prize, anything like that. Please be over 18, because if you win, I will have to contact you and I will be asking for a mailing address, and we just want to keep that all legal. I think that's, oh yeah, be a subscriber. So that's easy peasy. You just hit a little button and you'll see my face regularly on your Flosstube feed. So yeah, do those things and you're very welcome to be in with a chance to win the beautiful Cabin in the Woods pattern. So I think now that you really have had enough of me this weekend. I'm sorry for taking up all of your time. I just wanted to make a memory and record all of these things at the start of the new year to move forward and get going. So I have 41 WIPs to work on, folks. I need to go and do some stitching. I hope that you're enjoying your new stitch plans, whatever they might be for 2025. And you know what? If you're not enjoying them, then change them. Change them and make them enjoyable for yourself. Okay, guys, I will see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, please stay well and stitch happy. Bye!